You've been bothered by it. You've been told about it. Hell, celebrities have even gotten naked over it. What has the power to completely dominate the news cycle? I mean, more important than Trump, more important than COVID, more important than the Cowboys losing another football game. Wait. Before you click off this video, I am not here to insult you. I know you have a plan. I know you're registered to vote, and I know you're prepared to make a difference. So let's not waste time with that. Let's talk about how to get you this $100. And it's quite simple. Could be anybody. It could be, your friends. It could be your significant other, or it could be your mother's arch nemesis, Karen from finance, always trying to tell you how to do your goddamn job, even though you're the senior executive on that board. Okay, but share it at least with me, so I at least know you did it and I can get your name into the raffle. And on November 3rd, during our live stream here on this channel, you will have the opportunity to win that $100 when I do a live raffle. But before we get started, let me get some of my biases out of the way. I'm going to be voting Democratic this year. I'm a liberal progressive, but I'm a liberal progressive who dares you to come take his guns. I support taxing the rich an equitable amount, even as a person who has for the vast majority of my life been in the higher tax bracket than most people. I think putting kids in cages is wrong, but there is no caveat here actually. If you don't agree with this notion, if you think this is acceptable, if you think this is some duality where them being put in cages will actually make your life significantly better, I got some news for you. You are scum. You are worse than anything that could ever be found on this earth. You are the epitome of what's wrong with this country. You're not someone I would find reputable. You're not someone I would be interested in identifying with. You're not someone I'm interested in meeting in the middle with. And you're a constant reminder to me that not all people are good people. And to the point, you can go yourself.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here? Nani?
The fact that most voters only recognize the big dogs on their ballots is why you're here today. Because when you get past the president and the VP and maybe a few Congress folks, that's it. That's all we really have been taught to understand and know. There's a lot more going on your ballot that you should be innately aware of. And I'm here to tell you about those things you should be paying attention to. It's Uncle Joe versus Agent Orange. It's Creepy Joe versus
grab him by the pussy.
It's leadership versus
no, I don't take responsibility at all.
It's fixing the ACA versus
it's been very much misreported that we failed with healthcare.
It's the bridge versus the 5 miles of new border wall. It's the crime bill versus the impeached president. It's looking fly versus attracting flies. It's COVID free versus COVID positive. It's Joe Biden. Don't overthink this. And with this out of the way, let's start with the Senate. You have 5 parties running, but only 2 matter. And out of those 2 parties, only 1 person matters, and that's Mary Hager. She is the Democratic frontrunner, but she's nearly down 500,000 votes. So let's help her out. In the U.S. House is a staggering 36 spots, 13, 22, 1. Dems, Republican, vacancies, respectively. The state has grown more progressive throughout the years, and it's because of the youth retention rate. Like District 1, Hank Gilbert is literally fighting the embodiment of racism. The person who is currently in the spot for District 1 is the incumbent Republican holder, and this person is one of 4 people who voted against making lynching a federal crime. Don't forget about my homegirl in District 7, Lizzie, holding it down. Gus used about $5,000 to run his campaign, and he actually has a shot of winning. This is what we call getting it out the mud. Sheila in District 18 is big auntie energy, and I'm fucking feeling it, baby. She not only is winning in her district, she's running against this coon ass dude. So let's make sure we give her the vote she needs to wipe this dude off the face of the earth. And this brother from District 32 wants to make sure that Texas athletes who are in college are getting paid. I won't dive too much into the local politics because I can't really tell you guys how your situation is in your current situation. If your community didn't seem to have a proper response to COVID, if you noticed there weren't enough testing sites, if you noticed or experienced food shortages, if the roads aren't that great, if you notice your mayor didn't try to halt evictions, or you ran out of toilet paper during the pandemic, that's a clear sign that that person is probably not doing their job and you need to get them the hell out of there. But as far as the Supreme Court nominees are concerned, shout out to the only only girl that's standing up to this boys club. Let's talk about school. Man, them kids. Dude, we're filming.
Why you talking about kids? You know, there ain't nothing about them that I like. They soft spine, shoe on the wrong foot, them dirty knees. You know I don't like no kids.
My guy, really?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead and say what you was gonna say. I'm being disrespectful. Go ahead and say what you was gonna say.
As I was saying, if you have a child or plan on having children in the near future, you should be really involved in the school district. Educational boards are super involved. Recalls are basically people who have been voted into an office and they're doing a job, so you try and get them out of there and you take another vote to vote them out. In Austin, Texas, this mayor apparently has been doing some shady shit along with some council members. Leon Valley, Texas is in favor of removing this asswipe, and this asshole from McKinney in District 1 hasn't been showing up for work, so get rid of him. Who's next? I'm doing this video really for my brother, and it's kind of weird because I know he won't watch this video, but while I was on YouTube, I had to look up a word that I didn't understand that came from the ballot section of Georgia, and when I was watching this video, I actually put a comment there thanking people for explaining this to me, and a week later this person commented on my comment, and I was like, wow. The US Senate Democrat took donations from Delta and Facebook, but talks about how he wants to get money out of politics. District 2 is low-key a snake but has no challengers, so it's an easy win. District 3 actually wants to make a difference, but they may be too old to carry on the wheel of fire. District 5 is a very important spot. It belongs to the late great John Lewis. This spot was being battled over against the one that shall not be named, and an unknown individual had to leave their district to come fight. I find her courage to be admirable, but she definitely has some big shoes to fill. Rest in peace, John Lewis. You're gonna pick up where you left off. District 10 lost back in 2018 by 220,000 votes, but is still fighting, and I'm here for it. District 13, don't this dude look like the guy from Coming to America? District 14 pissed me off though, because they actually won and then dropped out and gave it to a Republican. Like, what the f is going on? Public Service Commission. Both District 1 and District 4 are on the right path, providing clean water, energy, and high-speed internet to the Georgians of the area. The state Senate has 27 out of the 56 spots going unchallenged. This is further proof that the involvement of the youth in politics is nowhere to be seen. District 3 is fiscally conservative but liberal in his votes. District 14 has a cool bow tie, but he's down 10,000 votes. Like, good luck. District 16 don't want to hear no excuses, and I quote, "Please do not wake up November 3rd and say, I forgot to vote. Don't see me in these streets and speak if you didn't vote." And I agree. District 23 can beat the incumbent that has held this position for 4 years, and I'm here for it. District 25 is just a girl from the hood. She's also a lawyer from the hood. District 27 survived brain cancer. District 44 has been holding it down for 9 years. Keep up the good work. District 45 actually wrote letters to every single person who voted for her, and that was 12,826 constituents. She better win. Like, that's so many names. District 49, 53, 54, and 55 have literally nobody running, further proving Georgia has a gap issue in the generation, and they need to find a way of filling it so that representation can happen effectively in the communities that need them the most. The state house has 180 seats, 162 of them are being challenged, meaning that there's 18 open with a spread of 74 to 105 and 1 vacant. Dems, Republicans, and vacancies. I can't stress this enough for the house. You need to vote blue no matter who in this situation. As simple as that. But just so you know how serious this is, districts 1 through 6 had literally no Democratic representation. First sign of a Democrat is a Democrat that was kicked out of the party because he only runs on a weed-only platform. Which is, you know, okay, but sheesh. Georgia Amendment 1. Vote no here. It sounds cool, but there's no real way to mandate where these funds will go. Georgia Amendment number 2, we're going to vote yes here because you should be able to hold the government and any parties in the government financially responsible for their inaction or their transgression against you. Georgia Referendum A is about churches and 503Cs, these basically non-profits. No, tax those motherfuckers. Fulton County has this on the ballot. Let's talk about the state that I've been trapped in for the last year and not begging anyone to help me get the
worst.
Here. I can't really condone the actions of our current frontrunner for the U.S. Senate in Nebraska here. This dude was caught sexting his staffers as a married person, refused to step down. It's really mucky. It's really ugly. There's a good chance I'm going to write my name in here. The U.S. House, though, is super progressive. All three of these districts are battleground districts. District 1, we got Kate, who's got my vote. District 2, we have Cara Eastman, who is someone I really enjoy watching. And District 3 is sort of a long shot by comparison. I'm voting for you. You got my support, all right? So make us proud. When it comes to energy and utilities in Nebraska, I'm voting for anyone who's okay with wind farms, going green, and minimizing our use on petroleum. The state senate is a mixed bag. District 1 is a conservative independent that reaches across party lines on thrice sides. While in District 3, the challenger is too liberal for the incumbent Republican, and that sounds fucking great to me. And shout out to District 7 for his Twitter name. District 11 is a story of redemption and value. District 25 wants to end overpopulation in prisons. District 31 wants to keep the youth within Nebraska by moving high-end tech jobs. District 35 openly hates pedos. District 39 is out of their depth but has some good ideas. I'll see you in 10 years. Districts 43, 45, and 49 are literally some of the most useless people I've ever seen on a ballot in my whole entire life. I don't even trust anybody from these districts to pull a piece out of a f***ing oven. There are two people on the Supreme Court in Nebraska who are up for retention, and I'm sort of of the mindset of voting these motherfuckers out. These two people voted yes to this pipeline running through certain districts in Nebraska, and this pipeline has been leaking oil since 2017. It was a disaster when they started, it was a disaster in the middle, and at the end of the day it still is, and we have the Supreme Court of Nebraska to thank for that. The intermediate appellate courts are so confusing to me because not only do you not have access to the cases that they rule on, you really don't know much about them other than their JD degrees and where they went to school. It's a big circle jerk of shadow people that you don't know about, but you're being expected to make pertinent decisions about. I don't really like this whole idea, and it kind of confused me up front. And I still don't know who I'm going to vote for till this day. I actually spent some time at a few of these schools helping out and volunteering. How long have you been standing there?
You know, I find it kind of sus. You're always doing research on some school.
Why is that? I'm an academic mind. I enjoy the art of learning. This is something I do.
Grown ass man always talking about school? I don't know, man.
What are you insinuating? Who are you calling?
Yeah, hello? I'd like to report this one sus-ass dude I be seeing at the school all the time.
Hey, wait a minute. Who are you calling? Energy, Amanda. The person running in District 1 has a daughter. The person in District 5 has a father. And the woman in District 7 is trying to prevent a youth center from being built designed to detain and hold troubled juvenile kids. On Amendment 1, there's an effort to remove the word slavery from the definition of a prisoner. This is something that should have happened back in, I don't know, Lincoln era, but for some strange reason we're talking about it in 2020. I have to reiterate this. In 2020, we are still talking about removing the word slavery from a constitution. Slavery. On Amendment 2, I'm voting no here. Ballot 428, I'm capping the interest rates. Ballot issue 429, let them gamble. Ballot issue 430, establish a commission on gambling. I find this to be weird. I think that should be paired with 429 because if 429 passes but 430 failed, then that means it would be the Wild Wild West, which is hilarious to me. You see how they just don't think? Is so stupid. Ballot initiation 431, taxing the winnings. I don't know if I agree with this because do I get to write off my losses? I don't know if this is true. If it is, I'll put it up on the screen. But if it isn't, no. Y'all won't help me with my L's. Y'all can't take some of my W's. Go yourself. The real reason I wanted to do Illinois is because I never got a chance to vote as an Illinois resident. One spot in the Senate is going to Dick Durbin, and in the House there's 118 spots, 74 to the Dems, 44 to the Republican, with no vacancies. 62 spots are going unchallenged, meaning you could literally run and bring change to your district. As far as the judges are concerned, District 1 is going to be a landslide. This P. Scott guy is winning. For District 5, make sure you vote my girl Jude in. Appellate court, vote blue. The state ballot is actually something I'm super interested in because there's been a person on my timeline who's been talking at great lengths about the graduated income tax amendment. And this is something that I found very interesting because this person obviously told the story from a perspective that would make sense to him. But what he failed to explain and what he really didn't want you to know was this graduated income tax amendment would basically tax the rich at a fair rate. The graduated income tax amendment is a definite yes. There are public questions on the ballot that I found interesting. So for Cook County's ballot, vote yes on faster internet. Vote yes on helping people who are disadvantaged. Vote no here. Chicago doesn't have a gun issue. They have a poverty issue. We should definitely start preparing for the next wave of COVID because we know it's coming. So vote yes here. Vote no here because we're all about defunding the fucking police. And yeah, we can vote yes here because if it involves training them to, not kill people, I'm all for it. Now let's get to my third home, the place that would eventually lead to me turning into this. I'm only doing this state by request. My homegirl CC asked me to do it, and she also has been doing her part to make sure that people at Pine Bluff have been getting signed up and registered to vote. This state is as red as the Confederate flag, and I need you to really understand that there are not a lot of progressive here in this state. Most of the Democratic Party either leans center right or center nowhere. This is due to the fact that there aren't a lot of youth people staying here. And if you don't believe me, just take one good look at downtown Dallas any given Sunday and you'll literally see a homecoming there. A lot of people leave Arkansas once they've acquired their education or hit a certain age. There are enough people in Arkansas to help start bringing about drastic change, and this is how we're going to do it. But for the U.S. Senate, let's make sure we're voting for Ricky Dale. He's literally all Republican. Just vote blue. But that might be hard too because District 1 has no Democratic representation. District 2 is a close race between Joyce Elliott and the incumbent, but she needs your votes desperately, so let's make sure we're there to support her. District 3 has a shot as well, so let's make sure we're supporting them. And District 4, let's vote William Hanson in. The state Senate has 9 unchallenged spots and 8 of them belong to Republicans. This either lets me know that they have a firm grip on these districts or no one is interested in bringing about change. And if it is the latter, that's kind of sad. So I'm hoping it's the first. And unfortunately for the state house, it is almost identical. Vote blue no matter who, but if you see some blank spots, that's a spot that you need to start thinking about filling. For the state ballot, issue 1. Yes, let's vote yes here because in my 4 years of living here and driving all around that state, I never once experienced one single bad road, not even in Pine Bluff. And I don't know if it's changed since then, but I'm only basing this on the past. If it's not the same anymore, then obviously vote accordingly. But they have some wonderful roads and some wonderful scenery while you're driving on these wonderful roads. And you get to go like 100 miles per hour. It's great. For issue 2, let's go ahead and vote yes here because there's no reason for there not to be a term limit. In fact, I think the term limit should be down to 6 years, not 12. For issue 3, we're going to vote no here because this is going to hinder you from being able to use your voice and your platform to get the government to work for you. So let's make sure that we keep them in line and in our best interest at all time. Make sure you vote no here. I don't even know why this is on the ballot. Why would you willingly give up your right to have a voice in your government? And that's it. And I'm not going to lie, I should have done this back in March or the primaries when Bernie was the front runner and a lot of these current winners could have been put to a more thorough examination. And more importantly, I need to remind myself to do this same video in 2 years when the governors are being voted into office. We need to start paying attention to people who are avoiding the spotlight. If you can't readily identify the people claiming to be working for you, then how can you verify that the work they are doing is for you? I learned 3 important things while doing this video. 1, the confusion is by design. It's hard to find any information on any of these candidates. And what's even more vexing is some of the information is hidden behind paywalls and other obstacles. That shouldn't be the case when we're literally here to vote on our future. Should we not have the right to information that would help us make an informed decision? The second thing I learned There's nothing cool about not voting. I have recently been seeing a lot of woke 2.0 black people on my timeline talking about how they're not voting or how some way, somehow their votes are not going to matter. But I need you guys to really understand the side effects of social media these platforms like Facebook and Twitter are having on your opinion on voting. The ads that you should really be afraid of aren't ads at all. They're memes, they're jokes, they're trivializations of the importance of voting. For every single post that I've seen mimicking, making a mockery, or just flat out denouncing the importance of voting, it is further proof that the system is designed to keep you down. Why would you ever take the power of voting for granted? Do you know the vote you cast November 3rd doesn't directly affect you? It affects the kids who are locked up in cages on the borders. It affects the women who are being forced to have hysterectomies in Georgia. It is a form of disrespect and disregard to the 240,000 people who have died from the coronavirus. If you can trivialize something, you can make it seem smaller and less aware to people. And if enough people in a collective group trivialize one thing, it becomes a norm. And when something becomes a norm, it then starts to infect and invade our culture. That doesn't happen because of voter suppression or someone hindering them. It is literally their own echo chamber telling them they don't have to vote because some joke or some meme has justified the reason why voting is irrelevant. Don't fall victim to these traps. Your vote is important, and it's a tactic that has been used in other aspects. And the final thing I learned, for what it's worth, if you find me to be a decent person, a reputable person, someone that, you would trust with your life or trust to do something that you needed to get done, then you can take my word for what it's worth. But I would even respect you more if you actually, looked into these things yourself, because for what it's worth, I'm not you and you are not me. I do not experience the things that you're experiencing, and you can't experience the things I'm experiencing. So the only way I can identify with you is to, compel you to actually do your own research, look into these things, and vote accordingly. More than ever, people are going to be voting by mail. So this gives you an opportunity to sit down and really look at your ballot and understand the people who are on them. And that's why I left the link to all my sources below, because if I was able to do all of this work just for this video, then I damn sure know you can do 1% of what I've done and register to vote, actually go and vote, and make sure you take pride in that ability to make a difference. Don't be discouraged. Don't think your vote doesn't matter. Don't believe the memes. Understand you are powerful, and when you are of sound mind and body, the worst kind of people hate to see you glow. If you can vote now, go vote. And if you can talk to your people about making a plan, do it. You can still register in these states, and you can vote right now in these states. And for the effort you put into voting, I'm willing to pay you $100 for it. Remember to share your voting journey with me so you can win that $100. All the information on how to win will be in the description below.
I still have a dream. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply one day. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply one day. I still have a dream. One day this nation will rise.